Police in Paris responded to May Day protests that got a little tense earlier today. It's one of many cities where people took to the streets for the May 1st holiday known as International Workers' Day or Labor Day. From Tokyo to Chicago, people celebrated workers and labor organizations for the 136th year in a row, and it's not over yet. CBS News political reporter Nydia Cavazos is at a demonstration in Los Angeles. Nydia, we understand demonstrations in the U.S. are more targeted toward the Trump administration and its policies. What are you seeing?
It's thousands and thousands of people that are out here in downtown Los Angeles. They're using the annual May Day March to protest against the Trump administration and the policies that they say are damaging to the working class and damaging to their communities. And what we're seeing on the ground today is many people who are here who are advocating for the release of the Venezuelan immigrants who are currently being detained in El Salvador. We're also seeing them protest and demanding more of a due process when it comes to the immigrants and the deportations that we've been seeing. Now it's community organizers, activists, students, workers here in Los Angeles. And this protest in particular comes after days and days that we've been seeing workers on strike here in Los Angeles. So this is yet another one of these protests. But we are expecting thousands of people here as well as across the country. And it's also notable that the LGBTQ community also has its members here with the pride flags, but they've mentioned that they're specifically here to advocate for the release of Andre Hernandez, who is a Venezuelan immigrant who is currently being detained in El Salvador, and he came to the U.S. seeking asylum and works as a makeup artist. And so this is the scene out here. We see the large banners with a lot of the images of the immigrants' faces asking for them to be released or to be able to go back home in Venezuela. And this is a crowd that we've been seeing here for the past hours, and they are currently marching and heading toward the Federal Immigration Detention Center because they're saying they're here to demand justice.
Nydia Cavazos, thank you.
Across the U.S. and the world, more than 1,400 protests on Saturday, according to organizers, telling U.S. President Donald Trump and his advisor Elon Musk, hands off.
Hands off Canada! Hands off Greenland!
People taking to the streets in Portugal, Germany, France, the U.K., and North America. Many are Americans living abroad.
I've never seen things worse in America than now.
Organized by pro-democracy groups such as labor unions, LGBTQ plus advocates, veterans, and election activists uniting against the Trump administration's policies on the economy, human rights, and more.
Hands off means restore what we've had as a democracy. In fact, when we were making our poster and we were saying what to have hands off, we had trouble limiting the list. The list got so long between free speech and reproductive rights and Social Security. I mean, we could have done 20 other things.
Hands off the UK!
In London's Trafalgar Square, one protester holds a sign reading, "Keep your tiny orange hands off the world." Hundreds of demonstrators came out in London, also in Frankfurt and Berlin, Germany.
We have to show solidarity with all the demonstrations in 1,000 cities today in the USA. We have to show that we are not in agreement with what is happening in the USA. People in Germany, people in Europe need to know that. This is not something that is happening with our approval, and we need to get onto our feet and out in the streets.
More in a moment on those devastating storms. But first, a busy weekend for President Trump. A federal judge blocking his use of a rarely invoked 18th century law to deport alleged members of a vicious Venezuelan gang. That just hours after Trump ordered massive airstrikes on Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen. Former U.S. Attorney Jay Town joins us to react to the president's push against that migrant gang. But first, we go to Lucas Tomlinson. He's live at the White House. Lucas.
Well, good afternoon, John. It was an Obama-appointed U.S. district judge from right here in the nation's capital barring President Trump from using that wartime authority from 1798 to deport members of the violent Tren de Aragua gang to El Salvador. That did not stop the planes from turning around, John, as you just showed in the open. Those flights continued to El Salvador. Earlier, Senator Mike Rounds said he supports the president's decisions to deport him.
I'll simply say they never should have been allowed into our country in the first place. It's our responsibility to protect our families, to keep our streets clean and safe. And that's exactly what the president said he was going to do. And that's what you're seeing being executed right now. We will follow the law. The law is clear. We believe that we can do this. Let's get these folks off the streets. Let's get them out of our country.
And the White House saying in a statement, John, this weekend at the president's direction, the Department of Homeland Security successfully arrested nearly 300 Trinidad terrorists, saving countless American lives. Thanks to the great work of the Department of State, these heinous monsters were extracted and removed to El Salvador, where they will no longer be able to pose any threat to the American people. Here's again those gang members arriving in El Salvador. The country's president posting this video showing the arrival of nearly 250 of them. The president of El Salvador said the U.S. also sent 23 MS-13 gang members. That's a Salvadorian gang. They also arrived. And as you mentioned, John, late last night, the U.S. military launching another wave of strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. The guided missile cruiser USS Gettysburg, as you can see here in the Truman Strike Group, firing Tomahawk cruise missiles into Yemen from the Red Sea. Senator Tom Cotton says Trump is doing what Biden never did.
Where did a bunch of goat herders in Yemen get one-way attack drones and cruise missiles? They got them from Iran. I suspect after last night they got the picture that Donald Trump is not Joe Biden. He's not just going to have our sailors on the Red Sea like sitting ducks. And if they continue these strikes, then he'll hit back even harder than he did last night.
And President Trump watched the strikes in real time with his senior national security team down in Palm Beach. His defense secretary spoke earlier to Maria Bartiromo.
The minute the Houthis say, we'll stop shooting at your ships, we'll stop shooting at your drones, this campaign will end. But until then, it will be unrelenting.
And on Fox News Sunday, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said several Houthi leaders were killed in those strikes. And just moments ago, John, a senior defense official tells me that about a dozen Houthi drones have been shot down by U.S. warships attacking the Truman Strike Group since those airstrikes were launched last night, John.
And the Israelis are on high alert as well, right, Lucas?
There's no question, John, the Houthis have launched ballistic missiles into Israel before, and there's no question the Israelis have the air defense system online, ready to go if the Houthis were launching any ballistic missiles up north as well, or the northwest.
Fascinating to see what happens there. Lucas Tomlinson at the White House. Thanks.
The tariff slowdown has begun. Bookings of container shipments from China to the U.S. are down nearly 50% compared to a year ago, according to shipment tracker Vizion. In tonight's In Depth, CBS's Carter Evans goes to the country's busiest port to see the economic impact at the loading dock and on small business shelves.
Still buzzing with activity for now, the busiest port in the Western Hemisphere is bracing for a dramatic slowdown, according to Gene Soroka, executive director of the Port of L.A.
What do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks?
In 2 weeks' time, Carter, we'll see a drop on our import side of the business by about a third. It could be as much as 40% the week to follow. Most American importers are saying that they're stopping shipments out of China because they simply weren't going to pay 2.5 times the cost of the goods.
With a 145% tariff, a container of Chinese goods worth $100,000 would now cost importers an extra $145,000.
With information coming out of Washington seemingly by the hour, it's tough to get a line of sight on what's next. So it's stop, pause, and wait.
So what is that going to do to the supply chain?
From the retail perspective, inventory on hand right now in the United States will last for about 6 to 8 weeks. After that, shelves will be bare. We won't be able to buy as much online.
All of these games come from China.
At the Game Chest, owner Mariam Ahamami has been stockpiling toys and games that arrived before the tariffs.
So I'm buying what I think I will sell between now and September.
You sound like a hoarder.
I feel like a hoarder. If you've seen my stores, you would see the hoarding in the back rooms.
To pay for it, she maxed out credit cards and loans for $500,000 in goods that will hopefully keep her in business through the summer.
I have 50 employees.
50?
And they depend on me for their paycheck.
And that's in jeopardy now?
It is in jeopardy.
80% of her merchandise comes from China, and board games are her biggest sellers.
I do imagine that our viewer is going to look and go, seems like you should be able to make a board game in the U.S.
It's true. It does look easy, but it's filled with lots and lots of different parts and pieces. And there's just not enough manufacturing here to be able to do that successfully.
U.S. retailers usually need to place orders by June to have merchandise in time for the holiday shopping season. But at this point, even if the tariffs are reduced significantly,
it'll still take about 10 days to 2 weeks to get these ships back in line over in China. Then it's a 2-week trip here to L.A. So we're starting to cut it pretty close with respect to inventory in the U.S.
So we might see some empty shelves even if the tariffs are brought down in the next couple of weeks.
We're running out of time on that. And if we have fewer items to select from, that's going to put a pinch on the American buyer.
for now, goods and economic certainty are in short supply. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Reading out of the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28 and verse 25. Thus saith the Lord God, when I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, the other nations, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. Call Yahweh, Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Ruha Rukakadash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. It's your brother Yao, so I'm coming at you with another video. And family, looking at the accounts posted. You got these protests worldwide. They call them May Day protests, I believe. The people are panicking over this whole tariff war. And, you know, the Most High, he's literally just breaking this place apart as he broke Egypt down. Okay, America is modern day Egypt, okay? There's a Revelations account where the Most High referred to this place as Sodom and Egypt, okay? Right? And that judgment is hitting America at a very high level. So when you look at what's going on, okay, you still have massive earthquakes, you have these tornado outbreaks, okay, the food shortages. You know, some experts are really saying the shelves are going to empty. Like, really, in these small towns, even big cities, the shelves really going to empty. And it's just going to cause panic, okay? Chaos, right? Martial law. Okay, these are the very last days. And the Lord is bringing the judgment upon this wicked kingdom. The Lord's going to continue to break down the United States of America, right? And voting Donald Trump or Kamala, okay, that wasn't going to help. And for all the so-called people of color that voted for Trump, well, hope you're enjoying the reality, because the world ain't. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because the stage is being set for the 12 tribes of Israel to be delivered, and the coming judgment of America in nuclear destruction. Okay. A lot of people don't like that. Yeah, a lot of these Israelite groups teaching we're going to have a seat in the UN. And, you know, I said this before, brothers believe they're going to get reparations. Lie. Our reparations is the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and we have to prepare for that. So before I get into the scriptures, I'm going to go over some of these end time headline notifications. Okay, see what your so-called kings of the earth, where their mind is. Check this out. Coming out of end time headlines, it says, this is just an hour ago. It says AI is running a classroom at a Texas school and the students love it. Okay. So, when the elders warn about this transhumanism, okay, ideology to run God's creation, that's literally happening right now. Okay. I'm going to read this again. End Time headline reports AI is running a classroom at a Texas school and the students love it. Next notification. It says Trump reveals bombshell vaccine shift that has experts terrified. Okay. Now he had this thing, he allegedly was against it, but I read pieces of that article. I wonder if he's going to mandate it like Sleepy Joe. Okay. Because remember, he don't really call the shots. The elite powers that be call the shots. And he's just like a speaker for them. That's it. But we can see these elites, okay, they have lost total grip on this planet Earth. And it's not a coincidence they were buying these underground bunkers. It all makes sense now. So you look at the tariff war. The Lord is setting the stage. The Lord's Locker, he's setting the stage to bring that great judgment. And we have to be ready. Talking about the elect, okay, because you could sense something very serious is coming, especially around the summer. And as I've been saying, America gets closer and closer to 250. Okay, always consider that. Next notification reads, it says tariffs threaten pharmaceutical shortage as 95% of the ibuprofens come from China. Okay. And you notice the Lord had to slow down the tariff war, and he won't. It's really the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob judging America. Okay, I've said this once, I'm going to say it again. America don't worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They worship a 2 Corinthians 11:4, your image in the back, and all the wickedness that follow behind Caesar. And that's why they're being judged. Okay, you have two parts of our people that's going to die under that beast image. We can see right now, America is just being judged, and there's no stopping it. Okay? You got to keep these commandments in these latter days. Jacob's trouble going peak. Okay? A lot of these shelves, they about to be empty. Total anarchy and chaos is coming to all these major cities right here in the West. Right here in America, okay? Slocky, I'm on the East Coast. I'm not on the West, but the West in the sense of America. Okay, let's read the next one. The other articles is really going into the protest about Trump's tariffs and the chaos it's bringing throughout this planet Earth. He had an incident on Tuesday. It says major United States banks used by 200 million Americans struck by a nationwide outage. So a lot of your major banks were hacked. Okay. And those plagues are going to increase as well. So let's get some scripture, let's get some scriptures, and we're going to wind it down. Let's read. I want to go back to that opening verse. Let's go back to Ezekiel 28 and 25. That's another gashing. That's another precept on that spiritual Israelite rhetoric. Okay, I'm going to always present this question to anyone that believes in that doctrine. Okay, what justice look like if everyone's going to get salvation and justice? Okay, it's total insanity to teach the oppressed and the oppressor can get the same salvation. That's another wicked doctrine taught in America, even among certain Israelite groups. But in the end, it's the wicked that's going to be judged. Right? Read this again. It says Ezekiel 28:25. Thus saith the Lord God, when I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, that's the other nations, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. That's another name just going into the 12 tribes. Okay. When you go to the John 7 account, I'm going to always resurface this. When you read John, the 7th chapter, it says the dispersed among the heathen. Who was the dispersed among the heathen? Okay, this common sense stuff right here. The Israelites were scattered among the people. Okay, in modern terms, we could say cargo slavery. In the ancient time, we could go back to Luke 21:24. That was the earliest diaspora. And you still have modern, slavery by way of human trafficking. Okay, and Israelites are the victims there as well. You go to, let's say, Walmart, Target, Sam's, BJ's. I'm a BJ's person. There's always that wall that have missing children. And you know who's the children images that's always missing? It's mainly people of color. So we still under this curse. Okay? That's why Christ is going to redeem his chosen and save us from this wicked land. Let's get some more scriptures. Let's get... This is really going into, okay, our redemption period led by Christ. Okay, so we're going to be sanctified before the nations, right? Let's get Ezekiel 36:23, and it reads, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, said the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. And they're seeing that with this awakening. Chiefly the Hebrew Israelite camps on the corners. You have the Israelites doing podcasts. This awakening is destroying this kingdom. Because once the Israelite elect is sealed, okay, it's going to be the end of this place. The greater judgments have to pan out. Like a Joel, the 3rd chapter. Okay, Christ got to take us back. All that's going to happen, you know, going into this great exodus, you know, when the missiles come and, okay, 2nd Ezra 7-43, Isaiah, Slakia 43, 1 and 2, I believe. These prophecies have to pan out. Because America, okay, the United States of America, it's not happening. This administration, Kamala, it still would have been a collapse. It's good that this administration is causing a collapse, and you know it is what it is. It's time to, you know, like the Lord tell us in Revelation 18, come from among this thing, man. Say that 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter as well. Come from among this this place. Get your mindset out of America because it's falling, right? Let's read that again. Ezekiel 36:23. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, said the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. Okay? And again, that's going into this awakening. The The Lord is setting the stage to save the elect children of Israel, okay? And the wicked's going to be destroyed. That's what's happening right now. Ezekiel 37:28. And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, the 12 tribes, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Okay? It's future prophecy. We know Isaiah 2:4 and Micah 4:3 didn't happen after World War II. Okay? That's going to happen after this destruction and the deliverance of the 12. Let's read on. Okay. Hosea 1:10. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Because what do they call us in America, especially in America? They display hatred by calling us the color of a damn Crayola crayon box. Your so-called lawmakers, okay? They call us black. You see the image of Hamashiach Yahushua in the back there, the description. That's a so-called brown man. Yahweh Israel is a so-called brown man. Okay? There's no such thing as black people, and there damn certainly no such thing as a white person. Okay? The different derivatives of red. Okay? They've been lying for a very long time. But their judgment is creeping up on them rather swiftly. That's why it's urgent for you newcomers in the Israelite community to hearken into these commandments and keep the commandments to the best of your ability. Because America's falling. And these food shortages are going to turn into utter chaos. And this coming summer, we shall see. All right, let's read on. Hosea 1:10 from the top. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Let me see if I get that precept in Romans. One moment. I believe that's Romans the 9th chapter. And you have to believe the thing, okay? America, okay, they just hid the truth from the people of the diaspora, calling us derogatory terms and trying to, they did a good job branding us, but in the end, okay, this truth has been revealed. So-called people of color of the diaspora are the children of Israel. And that great deliverance is coming warp speed if it be of the Most High. And we just have to pray it's in our lifetime, because I don't see a future in America. Not at all. Let's get Romans 9 and I believe it's Romans 9 and 26. It reads, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. All praise to the Most High. That's the mirroring precept in Romans 9 and 26. Okay. And the initial precept was Hosea 1:10. Okay. Let's get a few more. It says Zephaniah, we're going to read, Zephaniah 3:18 through 20. And it reads, I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Verse 19. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise, fame, and every land where they have been put to shame. Okay, the Lord is definitely going to redeem his chosen people. Verse 20, at the time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord. Okay, that's going into our deliverance. Okay, that's going into us coming out this lower state. And that's partially underway with, this awakening. Okay, what happened to the Egyptians when the Israelites began to call on the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? The Egyptians were destroyed. Okay, Egypt collapsed because of the Israelites. You know who's collapsing because of the Israelites and this glorious awakening? America. And there's nothing racism, white supremacy can do to stop it. Okay? All praise to the Most High. See if there's any more. Let's read Baruch 4:24. It reads, like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our God, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. That's dealing with the coming of Hamashiach Yahushai. Okay, it's going to be a glorious day for the elect, and that's going to be a terrible day for the wicked. Let's get that precept in Matthew's. Y'all know what I want. Let's get Matthew's. Excuse me. Y'all know what I want. Let's get Matthew's 24. I believe that's the 30th verse. Matthew's 24 and verse. Matthew's 24. I'm going to start at verse 29, and it reads, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Verse 30 is the point. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in clouds of heaven with power and great glory. That's going to be the end of the wicked in that day. Because Hamashiach Yahushua is going to destroy America. He's going to destroy the wicked. He's going to destroy Edom. Okay? That's what's going to happen. This world war that's setting up right now, yeah, they're going to be fighting one another. It's going to be BRICS versus America and its allies. But once Yahushua hit the scene, all focus is going to be on the Son of Man and the Most High. He's going to subdue these nations, okay? You read Isaiah 34, it won't even be close. Yahushua is going to mop the floor with the wicked, right? Let me see. See if there's any more before I wind down. Sorry for the voice, family. Been a long, turbulent week for Yahweh Israel, but sometimes you just gotta hang in there and just go through the fire, the fiery trials, right? Let's get a few more. I'm gonna wind it down. I'm gonna end it here. A lot of brothers don't read this, but I love to read this. I like to bring this out. We're going to read Revelations 2, verses 25 through 27. Check it out. It says, but that which you have already hold, from the top, excuse me. Revelations 2, 25 to 27. But that which you have already hold fast till I come. Okay? And he that overcometh and keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as a vessel of potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received my Father. That's also dealing with, okay, your Revelations, I believe that's 13 and 10. Okay, the Lord's gonna have the Israelites put the heathen nations in subjection, because we serve them as a punishment. And in Zion, the nations they're going to be subservients to the 12 tribes of Israel forever by Shema Mashiach Yahushai. And for the children of Edom, once they're done building the kingdom of heaven, you know, when you read the Obadiah accounts, especially 1 and 18, the wicked seed's going to be extinct. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, Ba'ashema Mashiach Yahushai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom, family.